You know, it's crazy how disrespectful a job can be, you know. They'll call you to the meeting room, show you a chart how they made $755 billion that month. Congratulate all of y'all on y'all hard work, sacrifice, you're slaving, and then give you some fucking pizza.
These jobs are unreliable because, like I said, at any moment, whenever whoever feeling petty or whatever manager feeling petty, they'll change your schedule. They'll deny your PTO. They'll cut your hours down. The company will go under. They'll just fire you on the spot and they don't give you 2 weeks. Like, they are so unfucking reliable that it's kind of imperative in this day and age now. You have to be building something up for yourself. Like,
quitting your job is a satisfaction I hope that everybody gets to feel at some point in their lives. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not talking about putting your 2 weeks notice in, letting them know so they can find somebody to replace you. I'm talking about quitting on the spot. Y'all got me fucked up. I'm out of here. When I was in high school, I used to work at Burger King. 1 weekend specifically, I think it was a Sunday, I had worked out the day before, legs cooked. This when I first started taking football serious. You feel what I'm saying? So I was really already 1 foot in, 1 foot out with the job. I was ready to be done with the job. I needed to focus on football. That's why I needed my mental to be. You feel me? But still needed money. I got on this bike that I had. I started pedaling to work, right? Probably like a 15-minute bike ride. You feel what I'm saying? Tire goes flat. So now I'm pedaling with flat tires. I don't know why I'm doing this myself. It, in my mind at the time, it makes more sense than me like trying to carry the bike in my arms, right? I get there. Now, mind you, the day before I had called out. I'm not going to lie. I had called out the day before last minute. I get there on Sunday. The assistant manager, cuz, mind you, he been working there since he was like a teenager. Now he's like in his late 30s, maybe his 40s, head bald and all that. You feel what I'm saying? He also works next door at the pizza shop. You feel what I'm saying? He say, no, you ain't show up yesterday. You can go home. Bro, I ain't gonna lie. I started walking home. I got to the crib. I laid down. And I really felt relieved. I was like, these niggas got me fucked up. I straight sent a text. I quit, period. Left it like that. Never seen Cuz again, and I bet he still worked there. Fuck Cuz.
Hey YouTube, if you've been online recently, you've probably seen people talking about sending out hundreds of applications, getting ghosted by employers, and feeling like finding a decent job has somehow become way harder than it used to be. Today we're looking at a bunch of clips around that topic, but the bigger story isn't any one experience. It's the growing frustration a lot of people have with the job market right now. Because when you look at everything together, from hiring practices to layoffs to workers' burnout, it starts to explain why so many people feel stuck even when they're doing everything they're supposed to.
Where are all these people supposed to find jobs? You ever think about that? It's almost June, so a whole new graduating class of students is about to enter the job market. And somehow, all of them are supposed to find a place to work. Doesn't that seem kind of crazy? I mean, did this many new jobs get created in the last year? How is this not like a national emergency every year? It's not like we don't see it coming. Graduation always happens at the same time. This graduating class of 2026 is unique because ChatGPT came out in 2022, meaning that the class of 2026 is the first group of students who basically had access to AI for their entire college career. But in that time, they have seen the AI get way better, and they've seen it basically take over the entire economy. That is the whole stock market now, is AI growth. But nobody has thought to address the problem of what are all these people supposed to do? And once again, it's not like we didn't see it coming. Immediately after ChatGPT was released, all anybody could talk about was AI taking people's jobs. And yet, basically no progress has been made on this problem. I mean, every year we have the Super Bowl in a different city. But the Super Bowl is announced, so that city always sees it coming. They spend a year making preparations, and the Super Bowl always kind of works out. Imagine if a city approached the Super Bowl the way we're approaching new graduates in the AI job market. You get to the end of the playoffs and you just say, oh shit, that's right. Maybe you should consider the military.
The reason why these layoffs are so severe is because corporations have realized that we have figured them out, that we know that they don't actually give a shit and it's all just a well-planned marketing scheme that is now falling apart. When you realize you can no longer trick people by making aspirational promises, you have to force them to work for you by making them desperate. This is evidence of late-stage capitalism if you think about it, because before they were able to treat their workers better, and when you're a little more comfortable, you don't see things for what they are as much. But at this point, they're squeezing everybody so much because they are so massive and have so much leverage. There's nowhere else for them to go besides turning in on themselves. Fatal flaw of capitalism and corporations is that they believe they have to make more money every single quarter. So this happens in phases. The first phase is market takeover. When they're trying to take over the market, they are much more reasonably priced, they pay better, they really are at the mercy of the working class and the consumers, so they play fair and at least pay decent wages. I mean, they're always predatory, but it's a little bit more fair in the beginning. Once they take over market share, a normal, sane company would say, okay, we've maxed out the value potential of our offer. So now, we just have kind of maybe hit the ceiling on profits, and we are just happy to sustain those profits quarter over quarter. That's not what these corporations do. What these corporations do is say, every single quarter needs to be more than the last quarter. So when you do that, after you've taken over the market, now you have to figure out, how do I make even more? And the only way to do that is to start not playing fair, to do things like degrade the value of your product because you're taking the quality out of the product so that you can make more money and you're lowering expenses. You beat out other competition in unfair ways. You start cutting wages. And now they're at the point where they're literally turning in on themselves and cutting all of their employees, which is an idiotic move, only for the sake of more profit temporarily.
One of the biggest shocks people run into is realizing that getting a job can turn into a full-time job by itself. A lot of people assume that if they have experience, qualifications, or a degree, they'll eventually find something pretty quickly. The problem is that companies are receiving huge numbers of applications for almost every opening. That means candidates are competing against hundreds and sometimes thousands of other people for one position. Online applications also make it incredibly easy for employers to collect resumes while making it harder for applicants to stand out. People end up spending months refreshing job boards, rewriting resumes, and filling out forms that all ask the same information. After a while, it starts feeling less like a search and more like a numbers game. That's why so many applicants feel exhausted before they even get an interview. And when the process drags on for months, it's easy to understand why frustration starts building.
And what's up with the job market? God damn. God forbid a nigga try to be a regular civilized human being and get a job again. It ain't shit out here. And the shit that is out here, it's like minimum wage. Y'all niggas paying the minimum possible. $25 an hour is not gonna cut it. $20 an hour, you gonna be in hell. You gonna be in hell trying to survive. So why the fuck is y'all still trying to offer that to people? Y'all know it's inflation. Y'all know shit going up. Gas $20. Like, how you expect me to survive off these little ass salaries? I'm on TikTok trying to make it. Trying to rap my way to a million. It ain't working. This shit is slow as hell. So I'm trying to become a working individual again. So would y'all please, whoever in control of this shit, get this shit fixed. Get this shit together.
Yo, people are just done, y'all, and I can't even be mad. So I showed up at Dunkin', they're supposed to be open at 5. Go to open the door, it's locked. Lady comes out and she's like, I don't open the door when I'm by myself. And I wanted to be like, well, it says you're open, but I'm like, okay, I get it. She opens the door for me, and then she said, what would you like? And I'm like, can I get the $6 meal deal? She's like, no, I'm by myself, I'm not making food. Again, I wanted to be mad, and I'm like, kind of get it. So after a while, she kind of cooled down a little bit. She's like, what would you want, hon? And, she made the food and everything was good. But I'm like, people are just done. People are tired. People just want to be like, I don't care anymore. So, I totally get it. Gotta kill people with kindness. I wanted to be really, really mad and be like, yo, you gotta do your job. But, you don't know what people are going through. And then after that, she was nice. So, it's a good day. I got my dunks. It looks good. Got my sandwich and my hash browns. All is well.
I've been unemployed for over a year now, not from a lack of trying to find another job. I just keep getting rejected. I literally applied for a place twice that asked for my middle school education information, asked me if I was educated up to middle school. I have a bachelor's degree. They rejected me twice. Okay, I'm not just applying for like corporate jobs. I'm applying for waitress jobs and being rejected. I don't know what to do at this point. I've paid people to redo my resume. That didn't help. I don't have money to pay people to do it again. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I'm lost. I am actually at a point where I am genuinely taking an offering tomorrow to a ferry door to ask ferries to help me find a job. And I'm applying for jobs all over the spectrum. Ones that I'm qualified for, ones that I'm underqualified for, ones that I'm overqualified for. Like, I feel like I'm hitting every single base of everything. I'm redoing my resume to the job descriptions. I don't know what to do.
At the same time, plenty of people who already have jobs aren't exactly feeling secure either. Over the last few years, layoffs have become a huge topic across multiple industries. Workers can spend years building experience only to suddenly find themselves back in the job market. That uncertainty changes how people view employment in general. Instead of seeing a job as something stable, many people now see it as something temporary no matter where they work. That's one reason why quitting a bad job can feel incredibly satisfying for people. When workers feel undervalued, overworked, or disrespected, leaving becomes about more than just money. It becomes a way of taking back control of their time and energy. And when you combine that feeling with a difficult job market, you start to understand why so many conversations online revolve around work, frustration, and figuring out what comes next.